Bradley Beal just gave up nearly $14 million back to the organization. Not in fines, not in penalties. He just gave it up on purpose. Now, why would an NBA player ever give back guaranteed contract money back to a $1 billion organization? Let's tap in. It all started back in 2022 when Bradley Beal signed a 5-year, $251 million Supermax with the Washington Wizards, and that was complete with a no-trade clause. Now, guys, do you know the only other player to have a no-trade clause currently in the NBA right now?
LeBron James.
Exactly. So let's just say Washington is a very, very, very loyal organization. All right. We don't got to talk about it, but I do respond to all comments. You can tap in with me down below. Let's fast forward. Now, Bradley Beal has been in Phoenix for 2 seasons. The Suns traded for him and his Godzilla-sized contract, and unfortunately, it also came with handcuffs. They was in prison. They were locked in a cap. No trade flexibility. There was a team stuck in the second apron, but we'll get to that. And Beal was only playing 50 games in both those seasons. So the Suns look cooked. I mean, there was no defense, right? There was no chemistry, right? There was no playoff hopes. KD was frustrated. Devin Booker was heading to his final year. He's heading to now his final contract year. And all it took was one playoff miss and a little disrespect from KD for Bill to say, yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I can't do it no more. So after that, Bill started rubbing his hands like Birdman. He started feeling real good. He worked out a plea deal with the Suns. He said, I'll give you back $14 million of guaranteed money in exchange for essentially his freedom, his complete freedom. It helps both sides. It helped Phoenix tremendously because we coming back around. They were in the second apron. With this trade, it drops them below the first and the second apron. It gives them back access to the mid-level exception, being able to sign players even when over the cap, the ability to send cash in trades, exactly what it sounds like, cash in trades, and then they also get draft pick flexibility back. Basically, just trading draft picks, simple stuff. Okay, so now Phoenix gets wiggle room to rebuild, and Bill gets a fresh start in LA. All is peachy. But this will definitely be the last time in NBA history that we ever see something like this. A player with a no-trade clause, that's already super rare. Only 10 players in NBA history have ever gotten something like that on their contracts. On a $200 million guaranteed Supermax contract, he gets traded, underperforms, and then voluntarily gives back $14 million just to be bought out. That's never going to happen again in NBA history. So take notes, pay attention, and tune in with the game. Because that was crazy. We see crazy stuff in the NBA every day, but that's crazy. That's generationally rare behavior. But the Suns still owe Bill. They definitely still do owe Bill $22 million a year in dead cap, so they're not completely free yet. But they still regain flexibility. And the second biggest winners, in my opinion, of this whole thing has to be the Clippers. I mean, it has to be. You just got a $50 million contract player score for $6 million a season. A steal. That's insane. That's ridiculous. Things like that should not happen in the NBA. It's crazy. But the Clippers in general have been cooking. I won't lie. They whole offseason been crazy. They re-signed James Harden. They got Nicholas Batum back. They traded for John Collins, Brook Lopez, Patty Mills, Drew Eubanks, and obviously they signed Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, that ain't nothing. But they also have who I watched in Dallas, who I think is a very good player. They also got Derrick Jones Jr. Shout out Derrick Jones. They got Chris Dunn. They got Ben Simmons, and they got Kawhi Leonard. That perimeter defense is going to be stifling. And then for rim protection, they got Zubac. defensive player, runner-up. I think he was either second or third, but he was definitely in the conversation. And then to back him up, you got Brook Lopez. So the Clippers are dangerous right now, and I'm going to go ahead and get it off my chest right now. The Clippers will have the best defense in the entire league this year coming up. I think last year they was already third, and the stifling defense of Kawhi Leonard, oh my God, Ben Simmons, Chris Dunn, yeah, and he still got John Collins. Yeah, man, they look real nice. DJJ, they look real nice. And then you got the rim protection of Zubac and Brook. Yeah, the best defense in the entire league. I'm calling it right now. Stamp it, mark it down. Now we can finally get to Bradley Beal. All right, because Beal, I'm not going to pretend like Beal's going to contribute to this all-time elite defense that I think the Clippers will be next year. But he can be a solid defender when he chooses to. I don't think Beal's a bad defender when he puts his mind to it, and I definitely don't think he hurts this team because he is an elite offensive weapon and ball handler. He'll be a secondary option to James Harden on the ball, and whenever James Harden has his moments, when he wants to go cold, for whatever reason, early winter for him, that's when you'll see Beal shine the most. I think we're just playing the regular season. I think he'll average a good 19 points per game, get into the feel of the offense, get into the field, get into his role a little bit more. I think if Kawhi decides to take a vacation and bring a new definition to load management, then I think Beal will probably average somewhere between 23 to 26 points per game in the regular season because he's definitely capable of that. But I don't think that's what he's being called to do. He's not on this Clippers team to be a superhero. The Clippers don't need that. They just need a consistent offensive score in the regular season and playoffs, more than Norman Powell and more than James Harden, even though I don't think Harden played too bad in those playoff series. But they just need somebody they can trust consistently. And if you're getting a $50 million level score for 6, I'd say they did a damn good job. But I would love to hear y'all opinion on the matter. Drop your takes in the comments. I promise I will respond to everybody. Smash the like button, destroy the sub button, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm tapping out. Peace.